Good day, I'm Joe.
And I'm Shelby.
And we're Board Games for Two, and we'll be going over our top 10 games that we played in 2024. Now, these are games that are new to us, but these are just our top 10 games. These all may not have come out in 2024, but these are all the games we've played that we enjoy. We've played over 100 games, gone to 2 conventions, and we've just played a lot of games together, and at these conventions had a good time. So we wanted to share our top 10 list. So here we go. All right, so let's get into our list, and first we'll go over kind of an honorable mentions. Let's give an 11 if you'd like.
Yeah, so my honorable mention in the list is going to be Clinic. And that was one of the heavier games I think that we played this year, that I played this year. Joe played a ton of heavy games. But that was one of the heavier ones that we played together. And basically it's like a hospital management. You're moving your little hospital meeples around, trying to make the most money, trying to manage your hospital as best as you can with all your influx of patients in different departments and things like that.
Well, it was fun to build multiple floors of things, wheeling your patients around on these crash carts, trying to be the most efficient, because the less efficient you are, the more money you spend. You are very good at this game. I lost, I believe, 4 times, but Clinic was a very, very good game. So that's a pretty good one. All right, and now on to my honorable mention. It's going to be Bantam West. This is kind of a newer edition. This is kind of a Ameritrash shoot 'em up, go kind of open world RPG experience. What'd you think of this one?
I think that was the most thematic game that we've played this year. It was really funny. Just Wild West, lawless. You can do what you want to do. So
yeah, there was some dice, event deck, just a whole bunch of stuff that I like to see in a Ameritrash game where I just want to come up with some memorable moments. All right, Shelby, let's go on to your number 10.
So my number 10 is World Wonders, and this game, super simple. I just had a blast with it. It's a little polyomino game where you're laying tiles, trying to match a pattern on your board to a card. But the fun part about it is that if you match certain patterns, then you get to place a little world wonder. It's an actual little token of the pyramids or Stonehenge or the big faces on Easter Island. I mean, there were so many of them, 20 plus, all these little world wonders. And I just thought it was the most fun neat little game. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the coolest part about that game was just seeing the wonders on the board once you were done, and you could like look back and go, "Ooh, look at my area, look at your area," and that was really neat. I enjoyed that.
It wouldn't be anywhere near as fun without the actual little tokens for them, but I liked it. So
yeah, I 100% agree. And my number 10 is going to be Stone Spine Architects. Now, this was a game where you were building a dungeon to thwart the good guys. You're trying to build the best dungeon. You're trying to lay the traps. You're trying to get the monsters out there. Trying to make the longest path to get from the start to end. The most inclusive. Trying to fulfill the goals. But it was just so fast. A little card drafting between us. And just a nice little easy game to play. Probably about 45-minute game. But just kind of took us by surprise.
So my number 9 game is The Search for Lost Species.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting game where it is a deduction game, kind of like The Search for Planet X, and is made from the same company, but it was fun because it had a little bit more movement than The Search for Planet X, but it was a nice deduction game. We love The Alchemist. We like the deduction. It was fun to find the different animals, the toads, the snake, the 3 together. Forgot what those were called.
Oh, birds, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, no, there was the 4 birds and
Yeah.
then something else. But you're trying to find the lost species. Just a nice deduction game. So good choice on that one. All right, my number 9, a new game, I believe, in 2024, Pagan. The Fate of Roanoke. So this is one that you and I played. I believe I played as the witch, and you played as the witch hunter, and we were just playing cards. You have to kind of build out your tableau. I can brew potions. I'm trying to be sneaky on one of these 9 villagers. I'm trying to make sure that I carry out the ritual and you're trying to stop me. Mm-hmm. What'd you think of that one?
I really enjoyed that one. I really like that one. And it's specific to 2 players, so that's always cool since that's what we're trying to do is play the 2-player games. So I really like that one as well.
Yeah, that was just a really fun asymmetrical 2-player game. All right, Shelby, so what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Creature Caravan, and that is the first Ryan Lockett game on my list at number 8. That was a brand new game this year. Really enjoyed it. You and your competitors are racing to reach a town at the end of the board, and along the way you're fighting monsters, you're trying to collect resources and build up your creature tableau, get extra points at the end. And I really like the tableau builders. Those are some of my favorite kind of games. So.
Yeah, especially at the end, I think you can have like 12 creatures or so. They all give you special abilities, so you feel more powerful at the end. You may use some of the dice placement. Attacking is very easy. Trading's really easy. Making sure you land on the right spots. I really like that about this game. All right, my number 8 game is Salton Sea. So this was kind of looks like a boring game from DeVere. It looks like a dry game that you're taking this salt and you're turning them into batteries. But the interesting mechanic of this game is one side of the card is an action and the other side is money. It's how you spend to upgrade some of your stuff, to use things around the board. Now, I mainly did play this one solo, but man, this is a nice, tight solo experience where the bot ran quick and I could just run through my turns, but I really thought about my turns quite a bit. So I was really surprised by this one.
So my number 7, it was previously on Joe's list already, is also Bantam West. The Wild West themed game, shoot 'em up. It was just, we had a really good time. It took up a ton of space. There's all kinds of different, you've got the wilds, you're outside, you've got the town board that has the saloon and the bank and the marketplace and all those kinds of things. You can buy horses and weapons and you can just do all kinds of things that you could ever want to do in the Wild West. I think the highlight of one of my playthroughs, I had a lady who was particularly strong in like sneak skills. And so, I mean, at one point I broke into a bank, I stole all the money out of the vaults, and it was just really funny. I just really enjoyed how thematic the game was.
Yeah, and then she broke into one of my cabins and I killed her in the cabin and we sent her straight to jail for trespassing on my land.
But I got points because I needed to sleep in jail for the night. So it ended up working out. But it's just a really funny game.
Real fun game. And my number 7 is going to be Search for Lost Species. I really enjoyed this one. We played it several times. I also played it with my buddies at Dads and Dice, Devin and Paul. We did terribly. I think we all guessed these species wrong, but we have a good time. I just love deduction games. I like moving around. This one I just really enjoy. All right, Shelby, so what's your number 6?
Number 6 for me is Everstone Discovering Ignis. And that is one where you and your players discover this town of Ignis. You happen upon it, and the whole point is you find these relics, and you're trying to restore the relics to their former glory and get victory points based off of that.
And you're also expanding your caravan. You're upgrading your actions. You're upgrading parts of your caravan. You're getting some of these different resources around. But the theme in this game, who knows what the theme was, but the gameplay itself was so good. But man, I just wish they came out with a better theme, because we can't really describe what you do because there are so many different aspects of this game and moving around the board. All right, and my number 6 is John Company. So I played John Company with my buddies at Dads and Dice on a meet me halfway. We both drove an hour and a half and met in the middle, and we had a great time playing this 3-player. And it was just a lot of fun. It was negotiating. It was trying to build up the company, but at the same time, one of us has to choose when we want the company to fail. And you always want the most money by the time the company fails. And it's a really neat mechanic of, are we working together? Are we working together? No. And I also played this solo. It wasn't as fun solo, but the negotiation mechanic in John Company at 3 players was a lot of fun. At 4 players, I could see this really being a blast.
My number 5 game, another one that was already previously on Joe's list, is Pagan, Fate of Roanoke. As we talked about it before, it was the witch versus the witch hunter. I played the witch hunter, and it kind of reminds me of One Night Ultimate Werewolf, where you have to choose one of the villagers, you know, who's the werewolf. Well, one of the villagers is going to be the witch, and you have to stop them. And I just thought that game was really neat. I know they've come out with a couple more releases of different scenarios for the game that maybe we didn't give the scenarios a shot, but I'd like to maybe at some point. But that one was really fun. I like the deduction of it. It always felt really tight and really stressful at the end to see if I could beat you out before you got all your curses in. So I really enjoyed that one.
And the base game does have a lot of replayability. And as you get to know both cards and both decks, there's a lot of playability in the base game. And my number 5 is, I played a BGG Spring Tricarion. So I didn't win this game. I made a mistake. But in the end, that didn't really matter because the theme to me was so fun in this game. Devin and Paul and myself, we were all different schools of magic, but now not like the fireball or ice lance. We were actually doing illusion magic or different types of these actual magician magic tricks. So you had to get the materials, you had to prepare, you had to make sure your assistants were all helping you out. A really deep worker placement, and it was just a lot of fun, and it was super thematic, and I really enjoyed playing this game. All right, Shelby, so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Harvest. In this one, you own a little farm and you're in the land of furrow field where you're a farmer. You got to go to the market and get your crops, and you have your own tile player board where you're planting your crops and putting them in a good area, the most advantageous that you can, to kind of where they slowly grow over the seasons. You get more and more money over time, and just a little worker placement game where you're just trying to make the most money at the end, and just owning your own farm. It's kind of nice.
It was neat to have the different fruits or the different vegetables too. The pumpkins took up a lot of space, but you could sell them for a lot more, whereas like the blueberries always grew. So it was just kind of a nice, cute game. My number 4 game is a 2-player or solo if you feel like it, but it is Fields of Arle. So Fields of Arle is a Uwe Rosenberg game. Looks pretty standard as far as it goes. You got your cows, you have to feed your people. You have to get your resources, ship off your stuff. It's just a lot of fun. But what I liked about this game, it was so tight with 2 players. I cared about what the other person was doing. I hate downtime in games, and I really felt like there was not a whole lot of downtime because I cared what the other person was doing. Because if they block my space, I have to decide which other space I'm going to go to, or if I'm going to spend the precious, once per turn to go to the, the winter side if we're on the summer side. But then they get the first turn on the, the winter side. So really great balance at 2 players, and this really was a fantastic game. All right, Shelby, so what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the first game that we played of the year. It was Sleeping Gods. So not new in 2024, but it was new to us, a very big campaign game. It was on the table for a couple of weeks, but I really enjoyed it. I love a good cooperative board game, and we were just out in the open waters on our little ship, moving along in our journals and collecting allies and items along the way, and fighting the baddies to hopefully destroy the big primal god there at the end.
This was it was a large game. This has a ton of replayability. We probably scratched the surface just barely on the amount of things we did. We'd do a quest and go, oh, we'll go over here, do a quest over here. So Sleeping Gods was really a breath of fresh air for us, especially in 2024. And my number 3, once again, we played a BGG Con. This one was Kutna Aura. So I don't like the cover in this game. But as soon as we opened the box and I saw that it was about resources, managing your resources, making money, as you buy more resources, the supply and demand goes up. That is 100% down my alley of games that I really enjoy. The game comes down to victory points, which was a little bit knock on my playbook because I'm all about making money all the time and optimizing the resources. But man, did I have a lot of time. We played this with 3 players. You share production with 2 other players and you own one of them. So it's a really good balance at 3 players on how you use some of these resources.
Okay, my number 2 board game that we played in 2024 was another cooperative campaign game, and that would be Mythwind. And the publishers described Mythwind as a cozy cooperative game. I don't know if I quite would call it cozy, but it was a lot of fun. You are out, you're building up your town with your players at the table, building up the town. You're going out exploring. Each player has a different role. I think I played the farmer and the ranger. But it was nice. It was, I'm having my own player board is planting crops and selling them for money to help build us up, to be able to build up the town and things like that. You go out, you collect resources. There's an event deck. There's a little bit of magic with the sprites and the spirits involved. So it's just all the things that I enjoy, cooperative, a little bit of fantasy, and a farming sim.
Mythwind was a great game. I just missed a little bit of the interaction. It really was how I felt a little bit solo. I was doing my thing, she was doing her thing, and by the end we were making money together. But I wanted some interaction. I believe the expansion is going to add a little bit of interaction between these different characters. But each one very unique. Just a very interesting game. All right, and my number 2, it wouldn't be a game if there wasn't some boring GMT game on my list, and it's Space Corp. This game was just a lot of fun. It's played in 3 parts, in 3 acts, and I actually really like that. The first one, you're just exploring, I think it's Mars and a little bit further. Next, you're exploring our solar system. Next, you're exploring a lot of different solar systems, and you're just having to work with the cards that you have, trying to build up your different bases, react to what the other person's doing. And it's just a lot of fun moving, making bases, preparing, and just it feels like it's a 3X game. Explore, exploit, and you're not exterminating in this one.
Expand.
But you are expanding. Yeah, thank you. So the 3X out of the 4, and I'm okay with getting rid of the fighting one. So Space Corp, very good game with 2, and also very good solo game.
Okay, my number 1 game that Joe and I played together in 2024 was Disney Villainous. And I know the game has its flaws. I know a lot of people talk about, how unbalanced it is. But I had a blast playing every single time we played. We went through, it's a head-to-head kind of gotcha game that typically neither one of us like. But I just had a lot of fun being able to pick up my Disney villain if I wanted to play Cruella de Vil or Hades from Hercules. It was just a lot of fun. Each of them have their own unique deck, their own unique player board with different objectives in order to defeat the other player. And we just really enjoyed that. In no other game in our collection have we gotten every single, box for it. I spent my time on Amazon. We went to Barnes & Noble multiple times trying to find and be able to get each of the villains. And we ended up doing that, and I just really enjoyed it. So I enjoyed the gameplay, but also I think I like that part of it as well. That really helped. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. Do I see myself playing it anytime soon? Because we played Disney Villainous for like a month straight. So I'm okay with it being on the shelf for the next few months. But that was my top game of 2024 was Disney Villainous.
Yeah, and it's easy to get out, right? All the actions are the same for every character. It's just how you go about it. Each deck is a little bit different. Just a really interesting game, high variability between the characters, but very easy and accessible to get to the table. So a really fun theme, and I don't blame you for that being your number 1. All right, and my number 1 game isn't quite a board game, but it is played in like a board game box. Medical Mysteries.
Number 1.
Wow. So Medical Mysteries is like an escape room in a box. Except instead of trying to escape, you are trying to figure out the patient's diagnosis. They come in sick. So you get an initial card that tells you where they're hurting, how they're doing, a little bit of background on them, and you run tests on them. You do different things, but it feels like an escape room. But not only that, I'm not a medical person. My wife is a great medical person, but they come with like these little pamphlets that says, you know, if this person's feeling this way, you may want to run this test, but watch out if they, you know, are prone to heart attacks or prone to, you know, if they're pregnant or something. So it makes sure that you have all the information there. You just have to dig for it. And I really like that. There's not a whole lot of closed information about this game, but it was really fun discovering the Medical Mysteries New York. I know they're coming out with the Medical Mysteries Miami, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that was our list of new games to us in 2024. This was just a nice, fun little video. Interested to see other people's top games. Once again, these aren't games that came in 2024, but that we just new to us in 2024. So hope you guys have found the video entertaining and enjoyable, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time.